Here's why I think it's going to happen. We're going to be doing this for a long time. I just came out of a meeting with approximately 80 to 90 people. I call them Main Street Republicans. And we said, if you're not committed to do this to the very end, go ahead and just leave. We're not going to hold it against you. But every single one says, we're here until the very end. We cannot allow 20 people to hold us hostage, act as political terrorists. We cannot cave into that.
He just called Republican holdouts political terrorists. The person you just heard from is Representative Don Bacon, who seems to be a bit of a Kevin McCarthy loyalist because he voted in favor of Kevin McCarthy becoming the next Speaker of the House every single time, and they have voted 10 times already. But what's incredible is the colorful language that Representative Bacon is using here. Maybe he's exhausted by the holdouts, maybe he's exhausted by the MAGA Republicans within the Republican Party. Maybe his bacon's fried, Cenk.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm not the only one making dad jokes around here. Okay, so listen, this is a really interesting case because Don Bacon is in Nebraska, but he's in the one Nebraska district that is very, very purple. Cara Eastman, a Justice Democrat, almost beat Don Bacon 2 cycles ago and 3 cycles ago. They went head to head and it was decided by a couple points each time. So Don Bacon has a vested interest in appearing moderate. Now he doesn't actually vote moderate. He voted with Trump all the time. He votes for the rich. He votes for every extreme policy. But he works together with conservative Democrats to make it seem as if, oh, only the crazy people wouldn't agree that we should give everything to the rich. In fact, a corporate Democrat who was running in the primary against Cara Eastman, once they found out that Cara Eastman was leading in the polls, he did an ad for Don Bacon to make him look more moderate, okay? So that the Democrats and the Republicans in reality work together to defeat a progressive. And so now Don Bacon is the leading guy going, maybe we should work with Democrats. And at the end of the day, it's all the same policy anyway, guys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Certainly when it comes to bread and butter issues, when it comes to foreign policy related issues, there are a lot of similarities there. Now, 2 days ago, he told a local radio station, well, he used similar colorful language to describe the holdouts. You don't negotiate with terrorists, he said. It's all been unilateral concessions and they keep moving the goalposts. They keep putting in new demands, and I just think at some point you've got to stand up to that. Okay, but what does that mean? You've got to stand up to that. Like you can't beat them like physically to submission, right? They're holdouts. They refuse to vote for Kevin McCarthy. At some point, the two sides, the two very different sides allegedly, need to come together and agree on someone that they would likely support.
Look, on economic issues, all there is one giant blob and a couple of progressives who are too scared
to fight.
Let's be honest, okay? Too weak to fight back, okay? But the giant blob is all the way from Justice Democrats all the way to Matt Gaetz. All of the Democrats outside of the progressives, all of the McCarthy wing, and in reality, the Matt Gaetz wing, except for things like the debt ceiling, et cetera, that they've now gone rogue on, they all agree, give everything to our donors. Everything. And mainstream media agrees, everybody in Washington agrees. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if McCarthy wins, another Republican wins, if the Democrats vote with McCarthy, the conservative Democrats do or not. So none of the policy is going to change at all. So let's just have fun.
Yeah, this is all just an amusing power struggle. Like this one story, I think, epitomizes every flaw we have in our political system, right? The nonsense, phony political theater they engage in, right? The wheeling and dealing they engage in depending on whether their district is purple, whether their district is red. It's all about, okay, what do I need to do? What kind of lies do I need to tell and sell in order to get reelected, right? Because if Don Bacon was in a deeply red district, I guarantee he would not be on cable news repeatedly calling Republican colleagues terrorists.
100%, and as usual, the media never points out, look, this guy's lying too. He's just lying because of his particular district in this way.
Exactly.
So my last point on all of the fun here is, I love it when it's Republican on Republican crime, just for fun, not that it has an effect. But Republicans, they only have a couple of tricks, right? One is call the other side terrorists, no matter what they are, right? So now they've used it against each other because they don't know anything else. They're just sad little servants, right? So they've been given their talking points. He's like, terrorists, Muslims are terrorists, Arabs are terrorists, all of our opponents are terrorists, the Russians are terrorists, and the Democrats are terrorists. And now the other Republicans are compute terrorists.
Yeah, no, he likes to keep it fresh.
Yeah,
he likes to change it up a little bit. Representative Don Bacon says he's heard colleagues privately tag the 19 Republicans who repeatedly voted against McCarthy for Speaker the Taliban 19, a nickname Matt Gaetz, who by the way just nominated Trump for Speaker again for the second time, called hurtful and false.
Oh, it's hurtful.
Though he added, quote, I too am prepared for an extended battle. I will ultimately win.
Okay, all right. So,
okay.
And then the last part that I like is the McCarthy wing, which is actually very, very right wing, and that has used the same kind of tricks against Democrats for time immemorial. Oh yeah, we're not moving. We're not moving on the budget. We're not moving on the debt ceiling. We're going to shut the government down. We're going to do X, Y, Z. Ha, gimme. And Schumer and Pelosi pathetically walk over and give everything that they want. And the media celebrates, yay, right? So now the Gaetz is using that trick on them. And he's like, oh, we've given all the unilateral concessions. Playing the role of Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, all of a sudden Don Bacon and Kevin McCarthy. We've given all the unilateral concessions. Why won't they give in? You schmucks, that's your trick, because you never meant it in the first place. They're just using it to gain more attention, more fundraising, etc. Welcome to your own party. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, I really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.